let's get stuck into these juicy test questions. And I say juicy because they're mostly about food and cake and things. So at least we can think about all the final products in these recipes while we're talking about them. All right. So this is a grade 10 question. Not to say that the grade 11 should not be trying this. Every single question you try is good practice. So this came from a grade 10 exam paper. So this is roughly what the grade 10 levels will be like. And then I've got a grade 11 one. So the grade 11s, you can practice this. Do not feel like that you need to switch off now. It's good for you to practice these questions. And then when we get to the grade 11 question, grade 10s, that's a challenge for you, but you can try those as well. So it's not, you're not limited to these questions. You can attempt any questions you want. Okay. All right, let's read the question and understand what's going on here. So it says, Nomfundo received a simple cake recipe from a friend in Swaziland. And on the left there, we can see the simple cake recipe ingredients. All right, so we've got 1 cup of sugar, half a cup of butter, excuse me, eggs, vanilla, flour, etc., etc., etc. So looks like basic cake ingredients. And then underneath here, we have a very important section. If you can see in bold here at the bottom of the question over here, the ingredients list, we have information like prep time. Now, prep, that word prep means preparation. So before you put the cake in the oven to cook it, you got to prepare all these ingredients and get it ready in a batter form. So the prep time happens before you put the cake in the oven. Then we got the cook time, which is 30 minutes. We have servings, which means this is how many pieces of cake you can make out of this recipe. And then we have an oven temperature, and we have a conversion that they've given us right at the bottom here. We can see we've got a cup to milliliter conversion. You don't have to know that, so that must be given to you in the exam. Okay, so basic cake recipe. Now, let's have a look at the questions. And the first one, I remember doing this when we did the measurement conversions course, and someone bravely put on their microphone and told us exactly how we're going to do this. If I'm not mistaken, it might have been Pabalo. I'm not too sure. But let's read the question here. It says, convert 350 degrees to Celsius. 350 degrees Fahrenheit to Celsius. So we're going from Fahrenheit to Celsius. Okay, so they're giving us Fahrenheit, but they want Celsius. All right, now they say you may use the following formula. Now, be very careful here, because often when they give you degrees Fahrenheit or degrees Celsius, you often just have to sub it into the formula and then it'll spit out your answer. But look very carefully here. They're giving us degrees Fahrenheit, which is here in the equation, and they want degrees Celsius out of this equation. Okay, so we've got to be careful with this. We're not going to chuck in degrees Celsius and get Fahrenheit. They've given us Fahrenheit and they want degrees Celsius out of this equation. So we're going to have to manipulate this equation around a little bit. We're going to change things a little bit to get degrees Celsius out, because as it stands right now, this equation wants degrees Celsius to get out Fahrenheit, but we have to give it degrees Fahrenheit and it's got to give us degrees Celsius. So we're going to have to manipulate this equation a little bit here. Okay. Yes, Karabo, we're definitely going to do that, because so Karabo is looking at the times part and says we're going to have to divide. And if you look at the back part here, plus 32, we're going to have to subtract. So we're going to have to manipulate this equation a little bit. All right, so off you guys go. You try that one and see what you can get, and then we'll go over the answer. It should take you about 2 minutes. Oh my goodness, Ave.
So
really
quick.
good. Sure, so quick. Lots of decimals there, hey? Don't forget to round off to 2 decimal places. All right, we've got another answer there. A little bit different. There we go, Ave, well done. Right, answers are coming in.
You can fast.
There we go, Tihama with the units. Well done to all those people writing down units, making Kia
They know
very
the
proud.
chat already. They know the chat already.
All right. That should be enough time. Only 2 little steps we had to do here. Okay, so just remember what I said here. They gave us Fahrenheit and they want degrees Celsius out. And in this equation, Fahrenheit is on the left and Celsius is here in the middle. Okay, so what we need to do is the reverse of what's written in this equation. Why? Because this equation is built right now to take degrees Celsius and give you Fahrenheit. But if they are giving us Fahrenheit and we need to find out what Celsius is, we're going to have to work backwards. All right. So these two parts here, the times by 1,8 and that plus 32, we have to do the reverse of that. So like Krabo said, we need to divide by 1,8 and subtract 32. The question is, which one first? Okay. Well, you should always work from the outside in. So this number on the outside here, plus 32, we'll do that first, and then we'll get into the bracket, which has got times 1,8, and then we'll do that second. Okay, so work from your outside in towards the variable you're trying to get, or the unknown that you're trying to get. Okay, so we're going to take 350 degrees Fahrenheit. First, we're going to subtract 32, and then we are going to divide by 1,8. Now, I've written a little sum on the board. Do I need to be very careful with how I put this in the calculator, or can I just type it out like that? Does anyone see a concern in the way that I've written it out?
Tiama says, be
Be
careful.
careful. Yes, Tom, I must be careful. What could I do? There we go. Well done. Good. So if I type this out in the calculator is actually going to do this part here first, because it knows BODMAS or BEDMAS or BIDMAS, whatever you want to call it, and it's going to want to do that first. So we're going to tell the calculator, hold on, this is the part we want first. All right, we want to do that calculation first. So we're going to put brackets around it to tell the calculator, focus on that first. Okay, let's see how it looks. So we're going to have 350, and I've already forgotten the brackets. Let's put them in. So 350, subtract 32, close the bracket, do that first, and then divide by 1,8. Okay. And that gives us 176,66667. I'm looking at the second decimal, which is a 6, and the 6 next to it in the third decimal will change the second decimal 6 to a 7. So this will give me 176,67 degrees Celsius. Don't forget your units. Okay, well done. Good job. Well done to all those that got that one out. Very good. Okay, so just this one was a little bit tricky because they're giving you a formula to get out degrees Fahrenheit, but they're giving you degrees Fahrenheit. So you've got to use that formula and change it around a little bit. Okay, so it's a tricky first question. Usually the first question is a little bit easier than that. This one was a little bit tricky. All right, but we can handle it. Okay, moving on to question 2. I'm going to go to the left here. It says, how many cups of butter must Nomfundo buy if she wants to serve 36 people? All right, so it's serve 36. Now, where in this question does it talk about serving? All right, so down here on the left there, it says this batch, this mixture, this recipe serves 12 people, but Nomfundo wants to serve 36. So she's going to have to increase her recipe, okay? So I'm going to draw a little relationship here. I'm going to say, look at the butter in this recipe, which is a half a cup. Okay, so I'm going to say a half a cup of butter is for 12, then what will be for 36? Okay, let me just move this out here because I want to write straight under it. All right, so there's my information. We've got a half a cup, which is for 12 people, but we want to know how many for 36 people. Okay, so how many cups for 36? Well, what am I doing to this 12 to get 36? I'm increasing it, right? I'm making it bigger. By how much? By 3. 12 times 3 will get me to 36. So I must do the same on the other side here. This half a cup needs to be multiplied by 3. So the step you're going to do is you're going to say half times 3. Get the calculator here. We've got fractions. So a half, that's half a cup. We need 3 times as much. And that's going to give us 1.5 cups. Okay, so we can write it like this, 1.5, or we could write it like this, 1,5. That's fine. Okay. All right, let's have a look at number 3. If eggs, oh, it's written a bit wrong here. If 6, I'll cross that word out. If 6 eggs cost 15 Rand, how much will she pay for 2? Right, you guys can do that. That's pretty easy. If 6 eggs cost 15, how much will she pay for 2? 6 eggs cost 15. How much will she pay for 2? Anifa, well done. Good job. 6 cost 15. How much for 2? All right, answers are coming through. Good job. All right. Okay. All right, good job. Okay, now I need to ask, someone needs to be brave. Who can raise their hand and tell us how they did that? Who can tell us how they got their answer? Someone would like to raise their hand and speak to us and explain how they got that answer? It could be a couple of ways to get it, actually. So I'm very interested to see how you guys got this answer. Anyone? Somebody?
Anybody,
Anybody?
somebody,
Somebody?
anybody. Tiama says he doesn't understand number 2.
Number 2. Okay, I'm going to come back to that one. All right, let's have a look at number 2. It says, how many cups of butter must Mfunda buy if she wants to serve 36? And if we look at our recipe, the recipe says this is serving 12 people. So if you look over here, I've highlighted in yellow, 12 people, and you need half a cup of butter in this recipe if you want to serve 12 people. But in the question, it says Mfunda wants to serve 36 people. So how much butter will this person need if they're serving 36? So what I did was I created a little relationship over here, and I said half a cup of butter is for 12. So how much butter, question mark, is it for 36? All right. So this amount of butter needs to increase. But by how much? Well, we have to look on the right-hand side here. How many times bigger is the number of people from the original? It went from 12 to 36. So what did we do to that 12 to get to 36? You times it by 3. To find this number 3, if you're not sure how to find that number, because maybe sometimes this 12 could be 11 and this number at the bottom could be 52, how are you going to know what to increase your 12 by, that first number, to get the second one? Well, you can always divide them. All right, you can divide them. The answer will be 3. So what we're doing is we are taking 12 and multiplying it by 3 to get up to 36. All right. We need to do the same for the cups. So if we've got half a cup of 12, 36 is going to need just 3 times as much as well. So you're multiplying by 3. So this is the step that I used here. I took my half a cup, multiplied by 3 on the calculator, and got 1.5 cups. Okay, so the key is to find out how much bigger are you making the number of servings. All right, no one wants to tell us how they do question 3. Oh, guys. I see a lot of answers there. Do you want to tell us? Ave, 15 divided by 6 equals 1 egg, therefore 2 plus 2 is 5. All right, good stuff. Thanks, Ave. So, Ave says you take 15, which is the price for 6, divide it by 6 to get a price for 1 egg. So, which is probably a good way to do it. Find out how much 1 egg is. And then if they give you 2 or 3 or 4 eggs, you can just multiply up. Or like in this case, we can add. So we get a price for 1 egg, and then we can use that number. Very good. Well done. Okay. So let's get a price for 1 egg. I'm sure there's another way that you could have done it. But let's see this one. So this is 15 Rand divided by 6. And we get an egg price. Now, so some people showing me the single egg price, because I think a lot of people did this and got 2.5 Rand. Okay, so I saw a lot of people putting in 2.5 Rand. That is your price for 1 egg. Okay, they want to pay for 2, so we just add it to itself like Ava did, or we can just say, all right, take the price for 1, multiply it by 2 because we need 2 eggs, and they'll give you 5 Rand. Okay, very good. Thanks, Ave. Okay, nice and easy. So out of these 3 questions, I think the first one was probably the most challenging. Second and third are not bad at all. Okay, you are smart. You are very smart. That's fantastic. Okay, question 4. Nomfundo stated, looks like a whole paragraph here. What's going on? Nomfundo stated it'll take her less than 2 hours to make 2 cakes. 2 hours to make 2 cakes. So she's making a statement saying it's going to take 2 hours to make 2 cakes if she only considered the minimum times indicated in the recipe. Now, what are these minimum times they're talking about in the recipe? Okay, so that's down here in this block. All right, so we see here the only times in this recipe is prep time and cook time. Okay, so she's using these times from the recipe. It says here, show with calculations whether a statement is valid or not. Now, so we're going to do some calculations, check her answer, and say, yes, it is valid, or no, it is not, using our calculations to back us up. Then it says, note, Nomfundo refers to, in her statement, the time Nomfundo refers to includes preparation and cooking. So both these times in the recipe, the prep time and the cook time must be used. Okay, so we've got to understand a little bit about how this is going to work. So she needs to make 2 cakes. For each cake in this recipe, you need 20 minutes of prep time and you need 30 minutes of cook time. All right. So if you want to make 1 cake, you got to do 20 minutes of prep time and 20 minutes of cook time. But she wants to do 2 cakes. All right. Let's not forget that. Okay. So let's see how we're going to work this out. Does anyone want to tell me how they think we should do it? Anyone want to raise their hand before you start calculating? Just give a suggestion on what we're going to do here. Everyone's so quiet tonight.
Yeah, nobody wants to talk to us.
No one wants to talk to us.
Maybe they're overwhelmed by the amount of electricity that we have. Just like shocked, like, wow, this is us as a country.
Yeah, they're sitting there enjoying the lights on, and yep, it's fantastic. This is how it's actually supposed to be. Everyone's in shock. All right. The statement is valid. Okay, I hope you got some calculations to back that up.
I'll unmute you, Sonia. It's fine. You don't need to raise your hand. Just accept to be unmuted. Yes, you can speak to us.
Hi, sir.
Hey, Sonia, how are you?
I'm okay.
You enjoying your
I don't know
holiday?
where. Nah, I'm in school.
Ah, you missed school. Wow, that's surprising. All right, talk to us.
Okay,
Yes.
so I don't know how to do this, man. But the first thing that came to my mind is adding those minutes for one cake.
Good idea. Brilliant idea. We need to add that time up for one cake. We've got prep time and cook time, so that's the total time it's going to take for this cake to be finished. So very good. All right. So watch what I do. You tell me if I'm doing it right. So we're going to add these two together. So I'm going to say 20 minutes plus 30 minutes. All right. So that's the total for one cake. Sonia, what should I do with this? This is for one cake. What should I do?
I think you should multiply by 2.
Very good. So we need to multiply this by 2. Okay. So I'm going to say here the total time or total, yeah, I'm going to say total time. Okay. Is 2 of these times, which is for 1. All right. So let's see what that looks like. So in the brackets, 20 plus 30 is 50. And 2 times 50 gives me 100. Very good. Now, Sonia, this 100 minutes, do they want us in minutes or minutes and hours? What kind of format did the question say? Did you see anything there? Did they say anything about how to show your answer? It doesn't look like it, hey? So what do you think? Do you think we should leave this in minutes or do you think we should change it? Do you think this is
I think
acceptable?
you convert.
Yeah, they didn't ask us to, but we can. In fact, if you take a glance down, it might be a good idea because it says in question 5, it talks about she wants to make sure she's finished baking a cake and she wants to finish at 8 p.m. So that's hours. So we might actually need to convert this. But because there is questions not specific, I don't think the marker should mark you wrong if you leave it as 100 minutes. But we usually like to see hours and minutes. Okay. Sonia, do you want to help me out? How do we convert this 100 minutes into hours and minutes?
I don't know, but I think 1 hour has 60 minutes.
Very good. 1 hour, 60 minutes. So we can take 60 minutes out of that. So let's do a little sum here. We can take 100 minutes and take away 60 minutes. And that will leave
40.
40. And that 60 removed is 1 hour. So we're going to write this. What's the final answer?
1 hour, 40 minutes.
Very good. Thank you, Sonia. Thank you for your help. I really appreciate it. Well done. Okay, so 1 hour and 40 minutes. Do 2 cakes. All right. So that's question 4. There we go. All the people with 1 hour 40. Very good. Okay. So a total of 1 hour 40 to make 2 cakes. All right. Now let's look at question 5. Guys, if you have any questions on how we're doing? Oh, yes, Thermal.
Might be because we didn't say whether the statement is valid or not.
Ah, my bad. Apologies. Yeah, 20 plus 30 is 50. I'm sure it's 50. If not, I'm getting the calculator to check, but I'm sure it's 50. All right. So is this statement valid? So she says it will take her less than 2 hours to make 2 cakes. So you could say yes, she is correct. Or yes, her statement is correct. But we've got to have calculations to back it up. So if you just say yes for this question, you'll only get 1 mark. It should be like 4 marks or 5 marks. If you only just say yes and don't show any calculations, you will lose a lot of marks, even though you know that the statement is correct. Okay. All right, let's have a look at number 5. Last one for the grade 10 question. Nomfundo wants to make sure that she has finished baking a cake before her favorite soap at 8 p.m. At what time should she start baking? So she wants to be finished before 8 p.m. So at what time should she start baking? Now be careful, yeah. Be careful. Look at the question here. Question 4 was for 2 cakes. Now, is question 4 and 5 related? Because in question 5, I don't know if you can see it, but I don't see them talking about 2 cakes. I see them talking about baking a cake. Baking a cake. That's 1 cake. Okay. So that's baking a cake, 1 cake. So what time do you guys think that Nomfundo should start baking a cake, 1 cake, so that she can be finished to watch her soap at 8 p.m.? All right, good, Sonke, 7 p.m. Good. All right, Anif also 7. We got Isavelia with 6:30. Ave with 7. Nicholas saying 6:10. He's being specific. Good. All right, we got some people saying 7. Hopper 6, 6:10, 6:20 for Sonia Dube. All right, we got lots of different answers here. Does anyone want to talk to us about how they got this? Nicholas, you don't want to come online and talk to us? Where's Nicholas? I know he always puts his video on. Nicholas, don't you want to unmute and speak to us and tell us how you got this answer? You don't want to. He's just smiling, like, please don't make me talk, sir. All right, Nicholas doesn't want to talk. Tell us how about this. Okay, so let's have a look. So this is for 1 cake. All right, yes, okay, we need to come and talk about that as well. We've got 1 cake. And how long does it take to make 1 cake? Well, in the previous question, we've already done a calculation to show that there was prep time, which was 20 minutes, and baking time, which was 30. And that gave us a total for 1 cake of 50. Remember, it was 2 for 100 minutes. So it takes 50 minutes to complete 1 cake. Okay. So this, you're talking about a cake, not 2 cakes here. The question is saying a cake, which is singular. All right, so what do we do? Well, let's have a look and write something down on the side. I'm going to do question 5 over here. Okay, so if we do this accurately, then we need to take 8 p.m. Right, I'm going to write it like this. In fact, p.m. should be 2000 hours. And I'm going to subtract how long it takes to prep and cook a cake, which is 50 minutes. Okay. So minus 50 minutes. All right, be careful here because we've got hours and minutes here. And you should all know that the answer will come to 19 hours and 10 minutes. Okay. So if you start at 8 and you subtract 50 minutes, you're not subtracting a whole hour. So you're just going below 8 p.m., which is 2000 hours. That'll get you into the 1900 hours. If you subtracted 60 minutes, you'd have 1900. If you subtracted 30 minutes, you would have 1930. But we have got 50 minutes here. So this is going to be 1910. All right. I think the people that are saying 20 past 6 are subtracting 2 cakes worth of time. So we're just talking about a cake here. All right. Yes, Jamal. So I think you did 2 cakes. So you've got to be careful with what the question is saying. So I was looking for that. I looked at the question. I said, are they referring to the previous question? Is there anything saying Nomfundo wants to make sure she finished baking both cakes before her favorite soap? In that case, we need to do 2 cake times to be removed. But they just said baking a cake, which is single. All right. So she wants to finish baking a cake for us. Now, if we look at our answer here, 1910 p.m. She has to start exactly at 1910, get everything done, and then the cake will be finished at 8 p.m. All right. Some people might argue, don't say 1910. Maybe talk about a little bit anything before 1910, 1909, or maybe 7 o'clock is probably safer. I think someone mentioned there. So I say 7 p.m. That's Sonke saying 7 p.m. because the last 10 minutes you can use to set everything up. That's it. Exactly what you're talking about. So Sonke is saying, so give it 10 minutes extra because she needs to set everything up or pack away. All right. Now, the question is not specific about that. You can add that to justify your answer. As long as you give that explanation to justify your answer, the marker should reward you. But as long as you before 1910, you can't go in 1920 or anything like that. So if you say 7 o'clock with a reason why you want to say 7, that's fine. As long as you're justifying your answer, okay, with a statement. That's fine. Absolutely, Sonke. Absolutely acceptable. Okay, any questions? Any questions about this one? Grade 10s or 11s? Any questions about this? So we're not just learning how to do the math here, but we're also learning how to interpret the question, which is very, very, very important. All right. Any questions so far? We're going to move on to the grade 11 one. So grade 10s, you must have a look and see the level of question in this next grade 11 question. Yeah, grade 11s, you better be ready. All right, if there's no questions, then we're going to move on. Okay, here we go. So this is a recipe for beef stroganoff. Now, I don't know if you've eaten beef stroganoff before, but it's like a stew, a beefy stew. So it's like a beef stew. And what makes it different is they put a lot of onions and also cream inside. So it makes it look a bit lighter. So it's very creamy because they put a whole lot of cream in here, and there's supposed to be a lot of onions as well. So it's a famous stew, like a Russian stew, but it's got cream in it. Okay, so on the left here it says refer to recipe annexure C and answer the question. So on the right I've got the recipe, which is annexure C, and then they've given us a whole lot of conversions here. Look at that. A whole lot of conversions. We've got pounds to kilograms. Now that they give you these things, guys, usually we're going to use them, hey? So they're giving us pounds to kilograms. Then they've given us tablespoons to millimeters, teaspoons to millimeters, and cups to millimeters. So tablespoons, teaspoons, and cups, all to millimeter conversions. There must be a reason for that. And then at the bottom, then they tell us 1 liter is 1,000 milliliters. Now, I would not have put that in the paper because you guys are smart enough now. You know how to work the metric system, but they give it to you. That's fine. But you should know this, all right? 1 liter is 1,000 milliliters. Okay. So the first 4 are normal conversions that are given to you in an exam. The last one is a freebie for you. All right. So now we look at the recipe. Yo, there's a lot there. You need steak, you need olive oil, butter, medium onions, blah, 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 blah. All right, there's a lot there. I'm not going to read through every single one, but we'll keep it there. We might need to refer to it. All right, question 1. How many kilograms of steak is used for the beef stroganoff? So for this recipe, how many kilograms? Okay, they give us pounds. So we need to convert from kilograms to pounds. Very easy. Nice, easy first questions. First questions should always be this easy. Our grade 10s, I'm thinking, hold on. How come our grade 10 question wasn't easy? You know, sometimes you get a trickier first one and sometimes you don't. All right, so anybody in chat, we're going to put your answer there. How many kilograms of steak is used for the recipe? So at the top here, we've got 1 pound of top sirloin steak. All right, there we go. Avi, well done. Nice and easy. Okay, nice and easy. They just said 1 pound of steak. And our conversions on the left there say 1 pound is 0.454 kilograms. Okay, well done, Avi. Too clever. Good stuff. All right. That's it, Akil. Well done. With the units, very good, Akil. Okay, so it's nice and easy. 1 pound is 0.454 kilograms. We have 1 pound in our recipe, so we can just say it's 0.454 kilograms. Nice and easy. Nice, easy answer. Very good, everyone. All right, let's look at the next one. Determine the total millimeters of salt and black pepper. Now, that's a strange thing to say, millimeters of salt and black pepper, because milliliters are usually things for liquids, but let's just go with the flow here. So milliliters of salt and black pepper. So if we go down to the bottom here, we've got salt and black pepper. Okay, for salt, we have 1/2 teaspoon, and for black pepper, we have 1/4 of a teaspoon. So TSP, when you see TSP in your recipe, that's for teaspoon. And when you see TBSP, that's for tablespoon. Okay, so just be careful of that. All right, so TSP is teaspoon and TBSP is tablespoons. All right, so down here, salt and pepper, we've got half a teaspoon for salt, a quarter of a teaspoon for black pepper. Now, we need a conversion from teaspoons to milliliters. Now, we can see here in the third one, we can see that 1 teaspoon is 5 milliliters. 1 teaspoon is 5 milliliters. All right, Sonki's got an answer. Anyone else? You guys should be doing this. Nicholas, Nicholas with an answer there. Sonki's like, oh, hold on. My speed is good. I'm just checking. She's just checking for equality. All right, we got 2 people with answers so far. I'm sure you guys are trying to work this one out. Anyone else? Grade 10s, don't switch off. Don't think that you don't have to do this question. You should be trying this as well. It's a good challenge for you. These 2 questions here at the start, so definitely grade 10 level. You can definitely try question 1 and 2. I'll give you 1 more minute.
Tiama's going to be asked to be fried tonight.
Yeah.
I hear it coming.
Oh, no, it's Tiamo. All right, so okay with the correction there. Sonia's given us like I'm not even gonna look at it. Cersei grade 11, I'm not looking at it. Come on, Sonia. You can do this.
And it's actually so easy. Just
Yeah,
need to remember a few letters.
yeah. The first 2 are quite easy. The third one is a little bit more challenging. All right,
I see a correct answer.
we got 2.75, we got 3.75, 0.65. We got 0.125, we got 3.75. Good, answers are coming in.
The speed is good.
I like the speed. Let's check the quality now. All right, Sambulo. For the correction. Oh no, Tiamo, don't say it.
You shouldn't even be saying it.
All right, whoopsie. Okay, let's have a look. I'm going to create some space here for this question. All right, we got salt and pepper that we need to add up. We've got a half a teaspoon of salt and a quarter teaspoon of pepper. Now, whenever we talk about teaspoons, 1 teaspoon is 5 milliliters. That was given to us in the question. 1 teaspoon is 5 milliliters. I'll write it here. 1 TSP is equal to 5 milliliters. All right, so we've got salt and pepper. I'm going to add them together. I'll use brackets. I'm going to say I've got half a teaspoon of salt. And that half must be multiplied by 5 because 1 is 5. So what will a half be? You multiply it by 5. That's for the salt. And then for the pepper, we've got a quarter. of a teaspoon. And each one is 5. So let's multiply that up. It looks like an E. Okay. And let's get the calculator to do the work for us. I'm going to use brackets again in the calculator. So we've got half times 2, and we want to multiply that by 5. And then we want to add another fraction. We want this to be a quarter for the pepper. Times it, whoopsie, times it by 5. Close the bracket. All right, there we go. So half times 5 and then a quarter times 5. And this gives us 3,75. Is that correct? You guys happy with that?
I wonder if Tiamo still wants to be fried.
Do you guys notice I left out my units? Oy, oy, oy.
Yeah. I haven't been saying it enough clearly.
Yeah, our teacher's going to shout at me now. All right. Okay, we got question 2 done. There's question 2. Whoops. All right, let's have a look at question 3. This one seems to be a little bit more challenging, but let's have a look. All right, question 3 says, a new chef stated that the total amount of ingredients for the broth, all right, what is the broth? So in the ingredients list, we have this item here, which is broth, whipping cream, which is here, and sour cream, which is here, is exactly half a liter. Verify with necessary calculations whether the statement is valid or not. So the total ingredients for these 3, the broth, the whipping cream, and the sour cream, is exactly half a liter. Verify with calculations. Now, if you look at these 3 here, the units they're in, the broth is in cups. And yeah, in fact, they're all in cups. So we've got cups here, and we need to go to liters. The question wants to verify liters. So we're going to have to use this conversion here, which says 1 cup is 250 milliliters. All right, we're going to use that. So we're going to convert all our cups into milliliters, add them all up, and see if it comes to half a liter or not. All right, I'm going to give you guys 2 minutes to do that, and then we're going to check our answer. Last one for the night. Make it a good one. Okay. So broth, whipping cream, and sour cream. He says they are half a liter. We need to verify that. All right, I can see people working there. Good. Almost done, guys. Last question, and then we're going to call it out. You can enjoy the rest of your holiday. Get back into holiday spirit, holiday mode. And make sure there's ice cream.
Definitely. Never ever miss that one out.
Mm,
Sambulo has an answer for us there.
good. All right, good.
Nope, Tiamo, we are optimistic tonight.
No Tiamo. Oh, okay. 500 milliliters. There we go. There's an answer from Tiamo. Good. All right, Akil with an answer as well. Sonia says she's got it. Good.
Drop a calculation for us there, Sonia.
So, yeah, if you can put a calculation in, that would be great. Unless you want to talk to us again, Sonia. Anyone want to raise their hand and tell us exactly how they got this one? This is the challenging one, or the most challenging one so far. It would be really cool to hear you guys and how you did it. Who's brave? Somebody?
Anybody?
Anybody?
Somebody?
Somebody?
Anybody? Yes, Sonia, thank you for the calculation. Truly appreciate it.
Yes, yeah, well, it's brave if a person wants to tell us how they did the most challenging one. Nothing wrong with that. Builds up confidence. All right, anyone else got answers for us they want to show before we start this one? Actually, very similar to question 2, how we do this one.
And there's actually 2 ways of doing it.
All right, let's get started. Okay, so we've got 3 things. We've got broth, whipping cream, and sour cream. We need to make sure that the ingredients comes to half a liter exactly. And then this chef will be correct with his statement. Okay, so we're going to add all 3 together, but we're first going to convert. So I'm going to do them separately. So you saw in my previous question here, let me just show you this. In question 2, when I did it, I wrote everything in one line. You don't have to write everything in one line like that. If it looks confusing, do it bit by bit. Okay, so instead of one line now, I'm going to do 3 separate conversions. So I'm going to do the broth first. I'm going to say for broth, I'll put here B for broth, and then WP for whipping cream, and then SC for sour cream, not P, C. Okay, so for broth, we're going to say 1 cup, and each cup is 250 mils, so we multiply this by 250 mils, and we get 250 mils. All right, the whipping cream, we have 3/4 of a cup. Multiply that by 250. Let's do the calculation quickly. So 3/4 multiplied by 250, and that gives us 187,5 milliliters. And then I've got sour cream, which is 1/4. Just writing it out quickly. All right, come back, change that fraction to 1/4. Multiply it out, 62,5. Okay, so you should be getting these 3 values for each of these ingredients. And then they want to know what is the total, because he says the total comes up to half a liter. So we're going to check exactly if he's right. So we're going to add these up now. So 250 plus 187.5 plus 62.5. And there you go. Okay, so to write it out correctly, we'll just write out the calculation, add them all up. $500 milliliters. Chef is correct. Okay. Does anyone want to suggest a different way to do it? There is another way to do it.
I have it typed out in chat already, just waiting to press send.
Yeah, just press send, ma'am. Press send. Ah, very good. So Kia is seeing that we've got 1/4 and 3/4. That's very clever. All right. So Kia is seeing we've got 1/4 and 3/4, and 1/4 and 3/4 makes 1 cup. 1 cup is 250. The other cup is 250. Add them up, 500. Nice and easy. Very good. All right. So it's a nice little trick to see that if 3/4 and 1/4 make a whole, you can just add those 2 whole cups together. Very good. All right. Does anyone have any questions? Any questions about question number 3? Very similar actually to question 2. Getting praised, yeah. All right, just while we're waiting, I'm just going to quickly do this all in one line to show you what it would look like. So we could say 1 times 250 plus 3/4 times 250 plus fraction 1/4 times 250. So if you do this all in one line, it'll also give you an answer of 500 as well. All right, any questions? All right, ladies and gentlemen, sorry to pull you away from your holiday, but thank you for being here. Thanks for being with us tonight. You've done well, you've done hard work. Remember, it will pay off.